Unit 2, Part 5. Let's carry on. Evaluating medical schemes. How to choose a medical scheme. Now, when evaluating medical schemes, the following needs to be considered. We all want the best medical scheme, but we all cannot afford the best medical scheme. So therefore, we must see what can we afford, and are we satisfied with it. It's the same as we all want to drive the best car, Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, but we all cannot afford that. So then we look at what can we afford and we buy according to that. So medical schemes is basically the same. You evaluate. You look at your budget and you evaluate the medical scheme you want and what you can afford. And then you think a bit and you think a bit and then you re-evaluate. And if you cannot make up your mind after re-evaluation, then you think a bit more, and then you re-evaluate again and again and again and again until you are happy. So it's evaluation and re-evaluation is the name of the game when it comes to the ever-changing medical schemes industry. Whether you already belong to a scheme or are likely to join one, you need to thoroughly analyze the options. So, where do you start? These guidelines from experts will help you. So, you might have been on a medical scheme for many years, but because they take certain benefits away, now you're not happy, now you want to move. But to which medical scheme? That's why you have to look at other medical schemes, evaluate, re-evaluate, and re-evaluate until you made up your mind which one will be better, or maybe you decide to stay where you are. Every year, medical schemes launch new options and change the benefit structures of existing options, often complicating them by adding limits and sub-limits and new conditions and exclusions or co-payments, etc. It makes it more difficult for you to choose the appropriate scheme and option. Besides finding one with the right benefits at the right price, you need to be sure your scheme is financially stable and will not go into liquidation or be placed under curatorship, because that will open another can of worms. If they're supposed to pay the medical bills and they're under liquidation or under curatorship, then there might not be money to pay those bills, and then you have to pay it. So the Financial Planning Institute, the FPI, and the REACH stands for the rights. That is where the R come for, the rights of education. That's the E, and activism, the A, for consumer healthcare. So FPI and REACH have compiled a list of things you should consider before you join a scheme. So the FPI represents and accredits professional financial planners, including medical schemes brokers. So REACH is a non-profit organization that aims to inform consumers about their healthcare rights and to help them enforce their rights. So the two organizations recommend you do the following evaluation exercise every year, because every year the medical schemes premiums go up and the benefit changes. Or whenever your healthcare needs change. All right, then you must look at the following. It will also be much to benefit you if you make a list of advantages of a scheme and then disadvantages. Disadvantages. Okay, and then you list all your advantages. I get these 5. The disadvantages, I get these 3. And you list them, blah 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 blah, and then you decide. Okay, I like this. I like this. I don't like. I like. I'm not worried about this one. Doesn't This one doesn't bother me. That one doesn't bother me. I don't like that one. Maybe you're a single guy and you're on your own and they've got your pregnancy and women stuff. So that won't bother you as a single male. But this one might be for something else. I don't know. This is just an example. So then you see, okay, I've got 4 advantages. Yeah, and I've got 1 disadvantage. And then you compare, say, okay, now 4 against 1, advantages win, I'll take this one. Something like that. It will also help you. So then, let's look at evaluating medical schemes, stage 1. The evaluation of the scheme should include, but it's not limited to the following. It can have other stuff as well. Membership size and demographics of the scheme, the age profile, pensioners and dependent ratio. So if you've got a lot of old people, it might be that they're more sick and use more medicine and they're draining the scheme. It can be alarming. And dependent, if you've got a lot of dependents, remember dependents don't pay for the medical scheme. It's just the main member that must pay. Growth of membership, did they grow a lot? Yes, no. The reasons for the growth, was it a lot of old people? That's red lights. A lot of young people? No, that's good. Benefit option, flexibility, range. How flexible are they for the benefit options, benefit offering, and contributions? Financial stability, their solvency rate, are they solvent? Are they financially stable? Do they have a lot of money? Operational results, operating results, sorry, claims ratio, etc. History of annual and interim contribution increases. Did they increase normal or did they spike more than the rest of the other schemes, the other competition? Your credit rating, the scheme governance, scheme administration, what is their service standards? They claims payment, contribution management and call centers services. Did they take long to pay claims or did they pay them quickly? Because if they take longer, they might have financial difficulty. That's why they wait for end of the month for the new premiums to come in to get money to pay claims. That is a problem. It might be a problem, but it's a red light. So from the above, compile a list of medical schemes that you would recommend as being financially viable and sustainable. Then we look at stage 2, establish your client's needs. So if you're a broker, this is an important exercise which requires the potential members' cooperation to ascertain the family's medical history or lifestyle. As per FACE requirements, a member's needs analysis needs to be done with the member. You know, they do the full needs analysis. Take all their income, all their expenses. You work out how many assets they've got, how many liabilities they've got, and you do the complete needs analysis. Find out where do they want to be in when they retire, etc. So this is to establish both the individual's past claims experience and members' future needs. Like, for instance, how much did they claim in the past? And do they, maybe it's a young couple, they want to start a new family. Stage 3, analyzing the information and matching needs to benefits of it. So you analyze the information you've gathered and you match that to the need, matching the needs of the client to the benefits that the scheme offers. So at this stage, you need to analyze the potential medical scheme's rules. So you look at the scheme's rules and you compare. You compare these to the potential members' needs. Will the scheme's rules and benefits compare or work for the members' needs? So for each option offered, examine the following. So you must compare A, the medical scheme's benefits offered, and check the cost and reviews of the choices. So look at the benefits offered and look at the the costs and the review choices. And then under the medical benefits, you must look at annual and sub-limits, annual limits and sub-limits, the rate at which the benefits will be covered. Is there any co-payments or levies, restrictions on access, the prescribed minimum benefits, reimbursement rates, treatment protocols and drug formularies, sorry, tongue twister, loyalty and wellness programs. Then if you look at stage 4, recommendations must make business sense and ensure that healthcare and affordability requirements are met. So yes, look at that. Stage 5 is the implementation. And then stage 6, monitor and review. Healthcare needs. So you must monitor and review the healthcare needs and the medical scheme environment. So the healthcare needs are ever changing, and as such, goals and objectives should be reviewed annually. All right. So when you look at administrator company, the business of a medical scheme is complicated and transaction intensive. To be able to manage the business requires, amongst other, comprehensive technology, skilled people, and infrastructure. It may not be a feasible investment for the schemes. Medical schemes need to be managed cost effectively and efficiently, so they don't want to run out of money. Schemes can either outsource this responsibility or they can do it in-house. So the Act makes provision for medical schemes to outsource their administration. So the administration can be outsourced to an independent medical scheme administrators. Unlike medical scheme, the business of the medical scheme administration is for-profit business. They want to make money when they administer the medical schemes. They will charge them a fee. So in order to be accredited by the CMS in terms of the Medical Schemes Act, the administration company must be fit and proper, maintain a financially sound position, be based in South Africa, provide services that are clearly distinct from others contracted by the scheme, and have the requisite resources, systems, skills, and capacity. So now we look at managed care organization, the MCO. MCO that contract with medical schemes are obliged to be registered with the CMS. The requirements of managed care organizations have to meet are listed in Chapter 5 of the Regulations of the Medical Schemes Act. These can be summarized as follows. The CMS has the right to scrutinize technology and business models to ensure standards to protect the interest of beneficiaries. They must be financially stable. They must make provision for appropriate exceptions and alternative drugs where a protocol or drug provides ineffective or causes an adverse reaction in a beneficiary. Now, drugs here, we're not talking about mandrax or cocaine or hashish or whatever. It's medicine, okay? In America, they also talk about the drugs, but that is medicine. So they must apply clinical expertise, evidence-based medicine, and proven clinical practice, and demonstrate that they add value to their client schemes, rather than show mere cost savings without improving the health outcomes of the beneficiary. They are obliged to be fully transparent with respect to their protocols, their medicine formularies, formulary inclusions and exclusions, the drugs or the medicine available to the beneficiary, any limitations on the rights of beneficiaries to treatment, restrictions on care that the beneficiary can obtain, and the services that the company provides, including formalities that must be complied with. So what is the patient's rights? For many decades, the vast majority of the South African population has experienced either a denial or violation of fundamental human rights, including rights to healthcare services, to ensure the realization of the right of access to healthcare services as guaranteed in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, Act number 108 of 1996. The Department of Health is committed to promoting and protecting this right, and therefore proclaims this Patients' Rights Charter as a common standard for achieving the realization of this right. This charter is subject to the provisions of any law operating within the Republic of South Africa and to the financial means of the country. So when you look at the healthy and safe environment, everyone, every citizen, everyone in South Africa has the right to a healthy and safe environment that will ensure their physical and mental health or well-being, including adequate water supply, sanitation, and waste disposal, as well as protection from all forms of environmental danger, such as pollution, ecological degradation, or infection. That is all our rights. Participation in decision making. Every citizen has the right to participate in the development of health policies, and everyone has the right to participate in decision making on matters affecting one's health. When you look at access to health care, everyone, once again, everyone has the right of access to health care services that include: number one, receiving timely emergency care at any healthcare facility that is open regardless of one's ability to pay. Number two, treatment and rehabilitation that must be made known to the patient to enable the patient to understand such treatment or rehabilitation and the consequences thereof. So just come back to number one, receiving timely emergency care at any health care facility that is open regardless of one's ability to pay. Now, if you're in a serious accident and time is ticking, they talk about the golden hour is the first hour. And the closest nearest hospital is not a government hospital, but it's a private hospital where you need to pay. Because of number one, what the ambulances do is they will take you to that private hospital. They will book you in and just stabilize you and get you all right. Just do the necessary. And then they will, once they've done it and they've stabilized you, they'll put you in an ambulance and you'll take you to a government hospital, or they'll get the helicopter to pick you up and take you to a government hospital. That is what is supposed to happen, and I've heard about stories that it does happen. It might not be including all the private hospitals. Some might say no, they're not supposed to do it. But I know of private hospitals that did help the people, stabilize them, and then they said, okay, they are stabilized, they are okay, now you can take them to a government hospital. So yes, and then two is the treatment and rehabilitation that must be made known to the patient. So you must tell the patient, this is how I'm going to treat you, or this is how we're going to rehabilitate you. So that make known to the patient to enable the patient to understand such treatment or rehabilitation and the consequences thereof. Number three, provision for special needs in the case of newborn infants, children, pregnant women, the aged, disabled persons, patients in pain, persons living with AIDS or HIV. And then number four, counseling without discrimination, coercion, or violence on matters such as reproductive health, cancer, or HIV/AIDS. Number five, A positive disposition displayed by healthcare providers that demonstrate courtesy, human dignity, patience, empathy, and tolerance. And number 6, health information that includes the availability of health services and how best to use such services and such information shall be in the language understood by the patient. When you look at knowledge of one's health insurance or medical schemes, so a member of a health insurance or medical aid scheme is entitled to information about that insurance or medical aid scheme and to challenge, when necessary, the decisions of such health insurance or medical aid scheme relating to the member. So if you're not happy, you can challenge them. Why this? Why that? Why not this? Why not that? Choice of health services. Everyone has the right to choose a particular healthcare provider for services or a particular health facility for treatment, provided that such choice shall not be contrary to the ethical standards applicable to such healthcare providers or facilities, and the choice of facilities in line with prescribed service delivery guidelines. Everyone should be treated by a named healthcare provider. That's why normally they wear their tags that you can see they are legitimate, they are such and such person, because their details will be on their card. So everyone has the right to know the person that is providing healthcare, and therefore must be attended to by clearly identified healthcare workers. So that if you need stitches, that you don't, if you see there stands pharmacist, that you know, no, this is the wrong person. So you need somebody that can put stitches on. Confidentiality and privacy. Information concerning one's health, including information concerning treatment, may only, very important, it may only be disclosed with informed consent, except when required in terms of any law or an order of the court. So maybe it's a criminal, and then you find out you saw his pictures on the news, then you don't have to give any if there's no consent needed, you can pick up the phone and tell the police you've got such and such person here, whatever. Or if it's an order of the court. Informed consent. Everyone has the right to be given full and accurate information about the nature of one's illnesses, diagnostic procedures, the proposed treatments, and the cost involved for one to make a decision that affects any one of these elements. Refusal of treatment. A person may refuse treatment, and such refusal shall be verbal or in writing, provided that such refusal does not endanger the health of others. So, if your refusal for treatment endanger other people, you may not refuse that treatment. Let's say, for instance, you you couldn't breathe, so you went into the hospital, and they tell you you've got COVID. And now you said, no, you don't want to be treated, you're going to go back to work. You cannot go back to work if you've COVID, because we all know then everybody that works get COVID and then people die. So in that case, you cannot refuse treatment because you will affect other people's lives. You will kill other people if you walk in that office with your COVID. So in that case, you cannot refuse it. I do also know people that had operations that refuse treatment. So the doctors tell them they must stay in hospital for 2 days. And then after 3 days, they decided, no, they're going home. The doctors tell them you cannot, because we must check you, because you're going to get blood clots, and then it's going to go to your heart, and then you're going to get a heart attack and you die. And they just said, we are going home. End of the story. And yes, they didn't make the next day. That blood clot went through their hearts, and that person passed away. And it's a person that was very dear to me. But he didn't want to listen. He didn't want to stay in the hospital. He refused. My father even told him and his wife take him back to hospital ASAP. But he didn't want to listen, and yeah, the next day he died because of that blood clot that the doctors told him is going. That's why he must stay in hospital that they can check him and monitor him. And even if he had that blood clot in hospital, they could have saved his life immediately. But because he was sitting at home, his wife couldn't get him to the hospital in time. She landed him in the car, and on the way to hospital, he already passed. So please listen to your doctors and don't refuse treatment. I would strongly suggest that. Or you can just kiss your family goodbye and they will have a sad funeral. Everyone be referred for a second opinion. Everyone has the right to be referred for a second opinion on request to a health provider of one's choice. Continuity of care. No one shall be abandoned by a healthcare professional worker or a health facility which initially took responsibility for one's health. Complain about health services. Everyone has the right to complain about healthcare services and to have such complaints investigated and to receive a full response on such investigation. But we will look into that a bit later. Members' duties and responsibilities. So, what is your duty and your responsibility? To not commit a fraudulent act or claim against a scheme. To provide full medical disclosure on admission to membership regarding any treatment you had in the past, care, diagnosis received in the last 12 months preceding the date of your application. Section 29A or 7 of the Medical Schemes Act. You must be open and honest. To pay contributions timelessly within 3 days of due date. To submit your claims in the form prescribed and within 4 months of the date of service. People, I've highlighted that in red that you know about these days and months. To understand and abide by the rules of the scheme. Continuously update the status of beneficiary with the scheme. So if you get a newborn baby, you mustn't say, oh my goodness, I forgot to put them on the scheme, because then they're not going to pay. You must make sure that they add them. In terms of Section 28 of the Medical Schemes Act, a member or dependent may only belong to one scheme at any given time, as said before. So please be open and honest. If you are not and they find you out later, they might refuse the claim. And you can take them to court. You will lose for not disclosing everything. And that is what happened to a lot of other people. If you go look at the court cases, the people who lied, who were fraud, who didn't disclose, then they want to claim, and then the medical found out, they knew, they refused to pay. The members took them to court, and the members lost because the justice said, you know the rules. You were supposed to disclose. You didn't. Sorry for you. You pay the payment. That's the end of Unit 2. If you've got any questions, you know what to do, and I'll see you in Unit 3. Goodbye.